When my guest speaks, people smell supernatural antiseptic and are healed of infections and diseases.
Can ancient secrets of the supernatural be rediscovered? Do angels exist? Is there life after death? Are healing miracles real? Can you get supernatural help from another dimension? Has the future been written in advance? Sid Roth has spent 30 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid on this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. It's hard for me to believe. I look at my guest, Stephen Brooks. I've met your wife, I've met your daughter. You have a worldwide ministry, signs and wonders. You prophesy, the prophecies come to pass. You've prophesied over me, and it's come to pass. So I know you hear from God, but it's hard to believe, Stephen, that 20 years ago, it's hard for me to believe when I look at Stephen now. 20 years ago, he was single, he lost his job, and you couldn't go to your parents.
Right.
Why?
Well, Sid, it was a tough situation all around. I had just recently received the baptism in the Holy Spirit at that time in my life. I began to speak in tongues. I was introduced to a church that believed in these types of things. I was totally unaware of it before, so it was all brand new to me. And I went back and I told the old denomination that I came out of that miracles are still happening. God still is doing miracles today. These things are real. And when I joined the church, they gave me the right hand of fellowship, but when I told them that, they gave me the left foot of fellowship. I was on the way out. My family didn't understand me. They had been raised in this certain denomination all their life that did not believe in miracles. And so when these things happened to me, a lot of my family and close friends did not understand what I was going through. So when I was in a time of great need, they did not want to help me. They thought it was some type of judgment upon my life.
And so you got 2 months behind in rent. And he does the honorable thing. He says, I'm not going to get into debt anymore. He doesn't have a job. He looks for a job. He can't get a job. And so he gets in his car. He's driving out of town, and he sees a cardboard box. Why would you grab that cardboard box? What did it look like, by the way?
Well, it was a large cardboard box, not your normal cardboard box. It looked like somebody had taken a refrigerator out of it, unpacked it, and just threw the box aside. And something told me that I was going to need that. And so I stopped my car, popped the trunk, and folded that big box up and shoved it in the back of the trunk because I didn't know where I was going to live at. And I drove about 12 miles out of the town and found a place off to the side of the road that I just pulled off to the side and literally took that box out of the trunk of my car, set it up, and I thought I'll only be here a few days. It probably won't be too long. And I began to live out of that box.
Did you ever, in your wildest imagination, think that you would live in a cardboard box?
No, the whole time this was going on, I kept thinking, why is this happening to me? I was crying out for help. I actually went by a church that I was belonging to at that time, and I asked them for help, and I explained my situation. And they basically replied and said, you're going through some type of Job experience. You need to just go ahead and go through it. And I didn't understand, really, it was the enemy trying to destroy my life. And so every time I tried to get help, it seemed like it just reinforced the difficult situation I was already in.
Okay, and your car stopped working, so you couldn't go in your car at night and warm up with the heater. You didn't have money for gas. Right. How cold did it get?
It got real cold. You know, Sid, when I parked that car, I thought I'll be leaving in a few days. I'll get out of this mess, but the car stopped working. And before I knew it, I rolled into the winter time, and the temperatures began to drop. And one night it got down to 18 degrees, which is considerably below freezing. And that was one of the toughest nights I had.
Now, I'm reminded of the time that you said, Lord, it can't get any worse. And then what happened?
Well, I was laying in that cardboard box, and I was hungry. I had not eaten in 4 days, and things were just difficult. There was stress and pressure. But I said, Lord, one night while I was laying in the cardboard box trying to keep from freezing, I said, Lord, it just cannot get any worse than this. And when I said that, Sid, I literally felt something wet begin to fall on my face, and it started to sprinkle. It started raining. And I said, Lord, it did get worse. And so I hit the rock bottom that night.
Well, There was something that happened, though. He had a post office box, and he got an unexpected check for $400. Had you been eating much?
No, hardly eating anything. It was depending
Where'd
on
you get food?
Well, it was depending on what was available in the trash cans. I found out that some of the local pizza companies, if they didn't sell all their pizzas at night, they would just throw them away. So if there was something in the dumpsters, I ate. If there was not, then it was another night of prayer and fasting.
What did you do with that $400 that came in unexpectedly?
Well, it was a shock. It did come in unexpectedly, but I remembered that I had that friend that I had never paid the back rent on. So I went back and I said, listen, I know your dad's the landlord. I want to give you that money so you can take it to him. And I gave him the money.
Why did you do that? I mean, it's the right thing to do, but here it's 18 degrees, it's raining on you, the cardboard is soggy, your car isn't working, you're eating out of trash cans. $400, Stephen, how could you do that?
Well, I really wanted to go to the grocery store, but I knew enough, having been brought up in a Christian home, that there are certain things you need to do in life that are the right things to do. So I took that check and I cashed it at one of these check cashing places, and I took the money over to my friend. He took it to his father, and his father was absolutely shocked that somebody would do that. It was just wanted to honor the Lord.
You did have a few dollars cash that you kept. How much?
I kept 4 $1 bills that I'd never spent.
Okay, get this. He remembers a Bible study that he went to a couple times. So he goes to that Bible study, and they take up an offering. This is a guy that only eats out of trash cans and does a lot of prayer and fasting because he doesn't have any food, and he puts the $4 in the offering? How could you do that, Stephen?
Well, there was a guest minister that night. He said, I'm going to travel down to South America. I want to take medical supplies. I'm going to receive an offering. So they began to pass that offering basket around the room, and I'm sitting there in that room, Sid, and I literally, a conversation began to go on each side of my shoulder. It felt like an angel was sitting here and a little evil spirit was sitting over here. And I heard God just so strongly prompted me and said, give your last $4. And I thought, Lord, I'm going to starve. And I heard a voice on this side say, if you give that, you will starve. And I thought just for a moment, and the whole time the basket's getting closer to me, and I thought, I'm already starving. I might as well just give it and obey the Lord. And right when I decided to do it, I pulled the money out and the basket showed up. I just threw those 4 ones into the offering plate, and it went around and vanished, and the meeting was over.
And so you went back to your box and your no food and horrible weather.
Yes.
You think it's going to get any worse? Wait till you hear what happens next week. Be right back after this word.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.
Last year, God told me to host a supernatural tour to Israel. The tour was such a spiritual highlight. We're going to do another one this year in Jerusalem. And we've purposely kept this top quality tour under $3,000, and that includes all taxes and tips.
Call now for a free brochure at 1-800-959-1062 or visit our website at sidroth.org.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Stephen Brooks. Stephen is living in a cardboard box. His car isn't working. He's got no money. He gave his last few dollars away in an offering. It's as cold as 18 degrees. You're living off of food and trash cans.
Yes.
It can't get much worse, and then it does. It rains, and he's got a cardboard box. He's living. You must have been cold.
I did, and also I had the budget cardboard box. It was the one that didn't have a roof on top. Just had four walls and a bottom. So I got rained on. I was freezing, and but I gave that $4 offering, Sid, and before I knew it, a whole week had gone by, and it rolled back around to that midweek service, and the Holy Spirit prompted me again to get ready and go to that meeting.
But your car isn't working.
I tried to explain that to the Lord. He said, "You get ready. I'll take care of the car." And I said, okay. And so again, the car would not start. I tried to start it during the week. It would not start.
That same thing happened to you the first time you went. It didn't start, but it started. So you went the first time.
That is correct. So right before that meeting, I tried to start the car up, and it started up. And so I drove to the meeting as fast as I could. Definitely didn't want to stop. And so I got to the meeting, went inside, sat down. But Sid, I'd been going through this for quite some time now. I was